friends, it's Casey
and Kaylin,
and this is Keelani, and we are
Triple K Art Studios.
Today we are going to do a very special lesson for a very special friend. Today we are going to be coloring for Carter. Carter Guess is a first grader who has been in remission for 3 years from neuroblastoma. Unfortunately, this terrible disease has made its way back to Carter for a second time, coming on full force. We need your prayers and we need your support.
We want Carter and his family to know that they are not alone in this fight.
If you would like to support Carter and his family during this time, please click on the link below.
And since Carter loves art class and loves to color, we are going to dedicate this coloring video to Carter Guess. So let's get started.
Today we are going to teach you some various coloring techniques using a variety of art materials. We call those materials media in the art world. So the media that we are using today, Kaylin is using colored pencils. I also have Crayola crayons. We have new washable, ultra clean washable Crayola crayons. So if you have little ones that like to color on the walls, these are a lifesaver. They wash off very easily. We also have some markers. There are some Mr. Sketch markers. They are scented. You can purchase these at Walmart and online. And I have some Crayola markers, some classroom favorites, chalk pastels, oil pastels, and some watercolor paint. Everybody loves to color. There's much debate in the art world on whether or not children should color in the lines. If you were to ask for my opinion, I am an art teacher. In my opinion, if a child chooses to color out of the lines, it is because that is their personality. It is a choice. However, it is necessary to be able to color inside the lines in order to acquire the fine motor skills needed for proper development. So we are going to first show you a couple of ways to color. Kaylin is coloring a kitty cat with colored pencils and markers. Colored pencils are a great choice if you have a coloring page that has a lot of intricate detail, such as this underwater scape. They are very fine point. You can get a vibrant color using them, and they are very versatile. That means you can use them multiple ways. If you choose markers, markers are great for outlining, and they can also provide a nice vibrant color. Just keep in mind that markers are very wet. So you have to be very careful when coloring with markers because it will normally bleed through the other side of your page. Let's see if Kaylin's is bleeding through. See how it's bleeding through? Markers are wet. You're applying ink to that paper. I am a fan of good old-fashioned crayons. I choose Crayola crayons. There's nothing like the smell of a fresh, brand new box of Crayola crayons. It's one of my favorite smells. So there are many different ways that you can approach coloring with a crayon. Many people like to outline the object that they are selecting to color first with the crayon. And you can color very slowly, applying just slight pressure in one direction. Kaylin, can you color like this? Oh, your finished picture of your kitty is beautiful. Can you grab another one and can you try to color the way that I'm coloring right now? Just going in one direction.
I have a free one.
Perfect. This is a very nice, neat, slow way of coloring. I'm pushing very lightly, and I give that shape an outline. If you choose not to outline and color lightly, that's fine as well. You might just have a little bit more trouble staying in the lines. Another way that you can use a Crayola crayon is you can push harder. So if I outline this shape right here with my crayon, and I bring my grip closer to the tip of the crown, I can push really hard and get a nice, dark, vibrant color. A fun way to use multimedia, which means more than one type of art material with this technique, is you can also use a colored pencil. So as you can see, I colored this square shape. I pushed really hard. I can grab a colored pencil and I can color on top of it. And what I'm doing is I'm scraping some of that wax off from that crown, and it makes a really nice, unique, vibrant color. So you can see how that looks right there as compared to the two light ways that we can color more carefully.
And besides, my birthday already went on.
That's right, besides your birthday already went on. When I use crowns to color, I'm pretty aggressive with coloring. This is how I hold a crown when I color, like this. I put the stump of the crown in the butt of my hand. Miss Chu said butt, but it's called the butt of your hand when you're using art supplies. And what I do is I make sure that I control my coloring, and I go at it every single direction that I can possibly go at it. I turn my paper in multiple directions. Some people believe that one direction is key, but this is also acceptable. Turn my paper, and then I have students say, "Oh, but Miss Chu, you're scribbling." Oh, I'm not scribbling. I am staying in the lines. I am controlling where my art tool is going. And Kaylin's gonna steal my green, but that's okay. I'm going to pass it on to her, because one way that makes this look more completed is I take another very similar color to what I'm using, and I go right into it. And I spend a lot of time applying color to this paper. Basically what you're doing is you are applying wax to a paper. The crown is made out of wax. So I'm just applying a piece of wax to my paper, and that wax just happens to be in the form of a little stick. It makes it super easy for us to use. So as you can see, I'm overlapping these colors. When I get to the smaller details, I slow down.
I need some brown, please.
Thank you for your manners. And if I want to add a little bit more depth to the area that I'm coloring, I just find similar colors. I'm looking for a darker green, but I'm not finding a darker green, so I'm just going to go in it with some blue. I'm going to add a little bit blue. And I push hard.
Can I please have some dark blue?
Some dark blue? Oh, use this one. I love your manners. Okay. So that's how I choose to color. Everyone has their own special way of coloring, but we are talking about techniques, so let's talk about some more techniques. I'm going to flip my Fuzzbird over to Biggie and Mr. Dinkles, and I'm going to show you how to outline using marker and then color using colored pencil or a crayon, either way. So I'm going to outline the shape that I'm using. I'm putting a fence around my area that I'm about ready to color, because we don't want that color to escape. If I were to choose to color using this marker, a lot of times students just like to color in as much as they can using the marker every different direction. You have to be careful doing that with marker, because as I said before, it is wet and you're going to be able to see all those different streaks. What I like to do when I am teaching coloring with markers is using one direction and the blunt point of the marker. There is a point and there is a blunt tip. We go one line at a time. And it's actually a lot quicker than what you would imagine, because you can get a lot colored in a short amount of time. just using the side of the marker, going in one direction, parallel lines, which means that they never touch. And you fill that shape with color. As you can see, it's a nice, rich, vibrant color. And it even provides a nice little texture. You can also use a marker to outline.
Could I please have some oops? I said
Some oops. I don't have any oops, sorry.
no, I wasn't asking for oops. I said oops.
Okay. So I use my marker to outline the shape. Now I am going to use a crayon and I am going to color in that shape. You can use one direction, you can scribble color just like I do, but it's under control.
Could I please have some red?
I love your manners. Yes, you may have some red. So you can see how both of these techniques provide a different effect. Another way that you can use crayons is by cross-hatching, which means you are going in two different directions. I'm going to use the washable crayons right now and see what kind of effect that they give me. They even say washable on the side of the crown, so you can't mix them up with your other ones. So a way to cross-hatch when you're coloring is you start out one direction.
Could I please have some purple and could I please have some purple? What do I need? Could I please have some green and brown?
Are they not in here?
Oh.
All right, so I'm going to color the whole shape using one direction. I'm applying medium pressure. Then after I get that shape colored, I am going to flip the paper. I'm going to spin the paper and color going a different direction. So now I am going to crisscross over those lines. This would be what I would refer to as a cross-hatching technique, because cross-hatching means that you are crossing over intersecting lines. And that gives that a nice, vibrant, completed look. You can see, just like that. Kaylin, you're doing an excellent job coloring Branch. Why did you choose to color Branch?
Because Branch is my favorite troll.
Branch is your favorite troll. There are some days when we just feel like we want to color out of the lines a little bit. And so sometimes we use crayons and coloring as a very therapeutic way to express ourselves. So I've got this really super awesome scary shark photo, and if I'm having a rough day and I just want to take my emotions out on a coloring page, I'm going to grab a crayon and I'm just gonna color and I'm gonna scribble on top of it. What do you think, Kaylin? You gonna scribble with me? Oh, that feels good. It's so therapeutic just to scribble a little bit. But scribbling can also become very beautiful. Now I'm going to go over the top of that scribbling with that crayon using some paint. So we are going to get out the watercolor and I'm going to paint right over the top of my scribbles. I'm going to use some watercolor and I'm going to paint right over the top of those crayons that I just scribbled on. And yeah, my shark's green, but you know what? In my world, maybe my sharks are green. And green does happen to be my favorite color, so I use a lot of green. So I'm painting over the top of those lines, and it's really amazing when your paint dries, because what happens is the water runs away from that crayon. Do you know why, Kaylin?
Because it has oil in it.
Exactly. Crayons are made out of wax, which is a type of oil. And water and oil don't mix. And there's a lot of science behind that. But we're just going to remember that water and oil don't mix. This is called wax resist. That means the oil and the water are resisting each other. So when you paint over the top of that wax, you're going to see a really nice, beautiful, fun effect happening. As you can see, my scribbled art becomes a beautiful piece of art in its own. All right, so when we color using chalk, we are applying chalk to a paper. Lucky for us, it is in stick form. Chalk is very messy, but chalk can be moved around the paper. So I can apply a little bit of chalk to my drawing. And as you can see, I'm applying it very quickly, but I'm still making sure to stay in between those lines. I use my handy dandy blender tool, and I take my finger and I move that chalk around. And this is where the control comes in. This is where I'm making sure to stay in the lines. I'm not just taking my hand and scribbling it back and forth. I'm staying in the lines. I'm controlling where that chalk is going. And now Kaylin really wants to use chalk right now, don't you? Like that. And you're gonna have a little bit of dust, but don't ever blow it in case there is someone in your house that has allergies or someone sitting at your table has allergies. So just take it and just shake it off. Shake it off, shake it off. She doesn't think I'm funny. So I'm going to apply a little bit of chalk to the fish's fins.
Can I please have some blue?
Some blue what?
I mean some pink.
Chalk?
Yeah,
Sure,
chalk.
can. Okay, I colored in the fish's fins using some blue chalk. Now I'm taking my finger. I'm using my finger to blend that chalk into the paper. And if you get a little bit further out into that pink, that's okay. It'll make a nice effect because these two colors are going to blend together and they mix. And Kaylin, do you know what's going to happen if blue and pink mix? What color is it going to make?
Purple.
Purple! Good job. So as you can see, we've got some beautiful purple mixing down here when I mix those two colors together. If you get chalk on your fingers, it's okay, it'll wash off. But while you're working, a really quick way to get chalk off of your fingers is to turn your paper over and erase your finger on the back. If it doesn't come off on your paper, use the palm of your hand, and those oils on your hand will clean off your finger. That's just a fun, helpful hint. Chalk pastels are very fun. They're very beautiful if you use them the correct way. They're also very messy. All right, so I'm going to put these chalk pastels over by Kaylin. She is going to want to use these next. Now let's get out the oil pastels. And I'm gonna get Cooper. Oil pastels are just sticks of oil. And you're applying that oil to the paper. And you can use oil pastels like crowns. But the best thing about an oil pastel is as you apply the oil to the paper, you want to push hard. You take your handy dandy blender tool and you blend that oil into the paper. And these are really fun to work with because you can get some really fun effects. And I chose to use oil pastels with Cooper because Cooper is very fuzzy. And so as I'm pushing my finger back and forth and blending that oil into Cooper's body, it's fuzzy.
Can I say something?
Yes, you may.
And it's because in the new #2 movie, Cooper found his real family.
That's right. And I do not have pink, and I need pink for my next stripe on Cooper. So I'm going to blend these oil pastels to make pink. It's another fun thing about oil and chalk is you can blend them to obtain new colors. So I'm going to use white first, and I'm going to color the section white that I want to turn pink. And as you can see, it's already starting to turn pink just by bringing some of that red up into it. And in order to make pink, we add a little bit of red on top of it. Pink is a tint of the color red. And using our fingers, we blend those two colors together. Check that out, Kaylin, we got pink. Isn't that amazing? See? Got pink. So you can use very simple primary colors in order to obtain those secondary colors, those tints and those shades that you might not have with just a basic set of oil pastels. Be sure that when you color that you work on those fine motor skills, whether you are scribbling or staying in the lines. Be sure to complete your coloring page instead of just scribble over the top of one and then go to the next one. And most importantly, make sure to have fun, because coloring is a very fun way to relax. It's very therapeutic for all ages. Love you. Stay strong. You've got this. I hope that you enjoyed our video. I challenge every person who watches this video to color a beautiful coloring page for Carter and post it using the hashtag #ColorForCarter. I can't wait to see what we can do. Please help this family. They're a wonderful family and we need your support and your prayers.
And push the thumbs up button if you like it, and give us a thumbs up, but push the down the down button if you don't like it. So subscribe if you like it.
Subscribe if you like it. Thank you for watching. Bye, Carter.
Bye.
We love you. Stay
Love you.
strong.
Stay